On behalf of Amrita School of Arts and Science, we heartfully welcome you to this event, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
In education. I'm really honored to join the National Symposium on Media Education and Research, Framing for Social Change Conference as a keynote speaker to discuss global perspectives for media education. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share a few thoughts through this. Thank you, Dr. Danish, for this chance. We can start the slides if you are all ready. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. The COVID pandemic and the weeks spent out of universities led a major change in education systems all over the world. Let's all agree about certain points. Next, that the COVID-19 pandemic has changed education forever. And we all must agree that we learn together at homes. Next. And let's remind each other about the education angles, which were affected and effected. Look at the slide in front of you. Find that the student, curriculum, organization, and teacher are the four angles of education. It was affected and affected because of the closure that put a considerable burden on the academic institution to cope with the unprecedented shift from traditional to online learning. There is a considerable development in education where the mode of instruction has been changed from teacher-centered, the one we were talking all together, student-centered education. Teachers and students taken by surprise had to change and adapt to the learning environment. In the teacher-centered, where the teacher played a role as a source of education and the students were the only one who were taking information from us without any mood of listening from on our sides. But when the COVID showed up and it became the student-centered education, it emphasizes the role of students in knowledge production in the class. At that moment, the approach changed and the teacher's role turns from helper to students who establish and enforce their own rules. That means that we are, as teachers, became only helping the students at their at the learning mode, not the only one who were only talking and they were listening to us. Come to student assignments and encourage them to provide alternative and additional responses. At that moment, I was asking them all to wear the green hat, which is the one responsible for being creative and to establish different and provide for me different responses, which mainly will depend on how they think, not how the teachers think. Student-centered instructions has currently benefited many new technologies by using the internet and other advanced technological tools to share and extend knowledge. This is how the education angles were affected and effected. Next. Next. Okay. We have two main ways for the countries, what the countries did. Some countries started to switch the in-person class to class, the one which depended on the face-to-face communication. They suspended it and students became at home, but at the same time, the classes continued with remote classes, the one which we call a distant learning. And there are other countries who were only learning at home. That means there are no any alternatives they are going to learn from. Teachers are not responsible. They gave them the material and they start learning by their own selves. Next. As we see in front of us, the COVID-19 time, we can say that it declined the traditional education. It canceled it at all and upgraded the online and distance learning, where the COVID-19 has forced the world to change in the global use of virtual learning. However, in Egypt in specific, they tried to introduce the online and distance learning before to maintain continuity in education, but were resistant to this and didn't adapt to it easily. But at that time, the COVID forced them to do this. Traditional education were cancelled, and online and distance learning was the only way in front of them to cope with what's happening in the world. And consequently, the COVID-19 became a catalyst to create a new and more effective method of educating students. Next. We can see the disadvantages of the online education in Egypt, and I think in most of the countries of the world. Lack of the access of the internet. All were facing problems in the internet according to the country we are living at. We had lack of motivation. People were not motivated because we have free time, it's our leisure time, and we were sitting at homes, and no one was considering studying as part of sitting at home. So we were not motivated enough, or students were not motivated enough to learn. However, they have lots of resources to enter, and they have lots of chances to join different courses, but still they are not that motivated. They are not that motivated. Sometimes the student wants someone uh, to stay in on his head to start working. They also sometimes lost track because time at home is different at university. Sometimes I'm saying that I'm delaying this task to after an hour or two, and after another 2 hours I'm not working on it, and step after step they were losing tracks. So this was one of the disadvantages of the online education. They also faced the difficulty in concentrating. They were not concentrating enough. They were not keen to understand very well. They just pass on it as if they are scanning a book or a novel they were reading. The isolation, which was the worst disadvantage for the online, we can see that it was difficult for them to concentrate or be the informal educational things. They interpreted this lack of motivation as the consequences of being isolated at home during the quarantine period, and that they were experiencing it in the lifestyle in sudden unexpected manner. A sense of isolation was also negative. They list the students listed when we were asking them randomly for losing the track of assignment deadlines. They they received constant emails for assignments from their colleagues. They had the chance to exchange benefits at the point. The only way for them was to have a call with anyone, uh, but we're not going to call um, every the messages on.
Excuse me, ma'am.
That's why we can say that. Yeah,
Ma'am, your audio is not so legible.
my audio.
It's not so audible.
Now, thank you. So we can say
Fedaa, your
express the feelings of attached.
I
The
think
person.
internet, your network has some kind of fluctuations on it, so it is not much audible and clear.
Okay. Can do.
If possible, you can switch off your camera so as you will get some good broadband and all. Yes.
Okay, is that fine
Yes.
now?
Yes, it's fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Being able to listen to me. Okay.
Ma'am, you can.
Am I
yes,
audible, right?
yes, yes, yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you. We can say that the lack of the access to the internet, its efficiency and its speed, and societies do not accept this type of education. All this created the world of so the problem. So that was first talking about being feeling of being felt, being isolated, and found this is something we all get bored from. So that's why the isolation is one of the worst disadvantage they were facing. Next. In Egypt or in the Arab countries in specific, there was a culture challenge of being resistant. They don't believe and they don't believe that online education was credible at all. There is a visible conflict between early investment in digital learning since the 1990s, as I just said, and people are unwilling at all to learn from the online education. And when they tried before to insist that this must be a part of the learning in the modern era, but people still resisted that. I'm still audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next. However, there have already been successful transitions amongst many Egyptian universities. And let's see, why is it successful? The pandemic presented media teaching with unparalleled challenges. It also may, however, move media education more permanently in the digital direction by using the flexible digital learning resources that students could use at ease. Let's go to students' education at COVID-19 time in Egypt. Next. Yes, and that's the students, the diverse specializations, cultures, languages. As you can see in front of you, the active contributors to the learning experience are the students. They had an active role as partners in the learning process, and they were the ones who are shaping their own personal learning track. They are the one who created their own track, not assisted by the teacher. They were the one who is responsible. If I want to learn this, I'm going to learn it now. If I'm not, then I'm not going to learn it, because it's up to him at this moment. This is what the students did. They were more personalized, interactive, and self-paced learning. However, the disadvantages that we talked about. Next. When we look at the teacher and student interaction, the question that pop up here and raised that all of the people were thinking about, has the teacher succeeded in absorbing the new media education with the new student variables and new educational media capabilities, or are they still clinging to the old system? In other words, if I was going to teach them in a specific way, I'm going to use the same specific way, but I'm going to use it on the online platform. I'm not going to create something new that will enable the students to learn in a better way on the online platforms. So the change is very important at that moment. If we looked at the teacher-student interaction as the next model, we will see that the younger and the less experienced faculty members are likely to be more open to new teaching technologies, and talking about positive experiences and how to overcome challenges encouraged that diffusion. The interaction was through Zoom, for example, through the Google Meets, something like this. Students, the course material was digitalized, provided in different formats on a variety of platforms, like the podcast, the web tutorials, and the unpresented lectures. They would be contacted by email, phone, messengers, and so on and so forth. The platforms we can use and any country can use, and could help with the equipment or other practical problems. The teacher's diaries, digital course diary, the teacher diaries show that some teachers also told students that they could get into. As you see from the electronic COVID-19 time in the Arab university, many universities brought servers, and some universities brought backup server according to the money each university have. And the universities created email for all the faculty staff members, the professor, the teaching assistant, and even at some universities for the students to make sure that there are professionalism in every relationship and students, so everyone can take their marks perfectly well. Also, beside the increase in the internet speed in the university to enhance the ease in access to the internet. This was also from the infrastructure that was there in the Arab universities. In the education management system, there are universities who bought the model, there are universities who bought the Blackboard. There are universities who depended only on the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, which is already published on the internet years and years ago, but people didn't use it. Only, I think, professors were the only one who used it because there were lots of databases there, like Sage and ProQuest and other journals we access daily. but sometimes students didn't depend on it, so they were forced to depend on it. When we are talking about also the education management system at the COVID-19, we cannot forget that there are two different types: the synchronous distance learning and the asynchronous distance learning, where the teacher and students interact in different places in the synchronous distance learning, but at the same time, students enrolled in the courses are generally required to log on their computers during a set time once a week. And they include multimedia components such as group chats, web seminars, video conferences, and phone call-ins. While on the other hand, synchronous distance learning occurs when the teacher and the students interact in different places and during different times. Students enrolled in the courses are able to complete the work whenever they want, whenever it's pleased for them. They often rely on technology such as email, e-courses, online forums, audio recordings, and video recordings, or the professional mails created by the universities was another medium for the synchronous learning. If I'm going to take a case study from my personal institution, the Ahram Canadian University, I believe that we have a unique example. Everything that was not did before, was not conducted before, it was used at the time of the COVID-19 in the Ahram Canadian. And so at that time specifically, we were applying for the quality assurance and we wanted to gain that certificate for the faculty. I think COVID-19 was a benefit, not a disadvantage. It has more cons than pro. It has more pro than cons for the Ahram Canadian, especially for the Faculty of Mass Communication. We can say that the process of learning became more self-directed, and students and alumni were encouraged to show out their best. Let's go to next slide. I will show you a little from everything we had at the faculty at the time of the COVID. The platforms we all used was the Zoom. Mainly we depended on Zoom, and some people depended on the Microsoft Teams. After the faculty decided to create for everyone a professional email, they use the Google Drive to upload all the materials. They use the Google Forms to create quizzes on it, and they use the classroom to interact with the students beside the WhatsApp and the Messenger. And the conference platforms like the Zoom, the Microsoft have been experienced growth, I think, because of COVID-19 in Egypt. Also, the gamification was used as an online teaching method during COVID-19. Next. Like the one in front of you is the Kahoot. This was to encourage students to play while learning, break out the isolation mode or the boredom that they always say that they felt. At the year of COVID-19, researchers were the only method of examinations. Exams were transferred to researchers, except for the fourth year, where the students were asked to be coming to the universities. They were taking the final exams only here at the university because they believe that the GPA and lots of criteria that said that they are going to be losing what they won from the 3 previous years, and this is the last year. So they decided that this was a country's decision, the ministry's decision, that they said that the only year that is going to take the exams at the university was the fourth year. So at that time, all the university was working on getting gels and and putting the precautions, and students should be in wearing masks and other precautions to make sure and to ensure that everyone was still staying safe, even if they are taking the exams. Next. These are the online workshops we conducted at the university, and it was easy, because we believe that the online created a chance for everyone to join as if we are joining now together. Instead of asking someone to come to the university and spend time, he can only give you 2 hours from his daily life routine, and you can learn at the same time. So it was a learning experiences, all the stuff, either they are faculty members or even the administrative members, and we enhanced your skills through the workshops, where we talked, for example, about the negotiation skills, about the problem solving. For the staff, the faculty staff members, we concentrated on the international publishing, and even for the new TAs who still didn't had the chance to learn anything, because this was the first semester, how and to be a better TA, how to be a successful one, and the tips and tricks and so on. And sometimes stress, especially after the time of the COVID-19, when you are all faculty members staying at the university and students are at home, and you need to manage the stress because they are part of your 24 hours life. Next. Also, we had an initiative from our alumni, which was really something interesting to us, that they decided to, the ones who worked in the market years and years, they decide why not that we are going to work out workshops or 2-hour sessions for the students. So it's going to be a relationship between the alumni and the faculty students themselves. Those were our alumni, and we had lots and lots. These were the pictures are just examples. They learned them the digital marketing, short story structures, the sports reporting, editing, and everything. Even there were one time there was a university that decided to create a competition. One of our alumni that were working there, we asked her to enter a meeting with the students who are going to present their work and to explain. So it was like a model, role model the alumni gave for the faculty students, and it was engagement in learning, and they were interested. We had lots of participants there, so this was one of the benefits for the COVID-19. Also, we spent years believing that we want to create an employment fair, and lots of documents in the routine of the universities. We were facing that we need to take approvals from X, Y, and Z. So at the virtual employment fair, it was totally different. We just had a contract with one of the websites that were creating employment fairs, and we asked them to create a virtual one, and students had the chance to meet the companies online, and to apply their CVs online, and to work out everything online, and to go directly to have a face-to-face interview at the company they were accepted at. And at the same time, we also gave them a coaching sessions. One was about the interview coaching and professional job search tools, to make them feel or to sense that nothing happened after the COVID-19, that you didn't lose. Maybe you gained more and more and more. Next. We also had something that started the semester before the COVID, that we created a creativity festival, and we were facing a challenge. What we are supposed to do. At that moment, we decided to switch it to the online. However, students want to spend one day together, to take certificates and to have photos. Everything was lost, but we decided to create webinars to discuss their projects, the creative project that they conducted at the COVID era, at the COVID time, and start negotiating about everything. And one of the webinars was about the public opinion course, and we talked about the effect of COVID-19 on the future of polling, and we had different guests all over the world joining us, and it was really a successful time, and people didn't believe that they lost anything. And till now, we are proceeding with the Creativity Festival, but we are back again on the offline stages to the 5th that we just conducted a month ago. Students still at that time took their certificates online by the email, and they didn't feel that they lost something because of the COVID-19. Next. And we all know that because we are about to end the semester, students usually, the fourth year students usually love to have a fun day and love to wear the robes and the chapeau, celebrating their success. And this is the end of the fourth year. So we decided that still they are going to still as they are going to be at the COVID-19 time, we are not going to take this from them. We decided to create it's just a board like what you see, and we said that come and have fun with them, but don't and staying safe. Yani, you are not going to remove the mask, and you are going to stay with every precaution we decided. And they had fun and they had pictures, and this is what they wanted. So we broke their fear of going down and returning back, and it was like memories they created, and it was a memorial year to them. So they had fun, really. Next. It was our first year, and maybe it was something that we were trying also to do years ago, that we had the first Journalism International Conference. We were deciding to have it at April, but after the sudden COVID-19, we decided to switch it to October. And at that time, we conducted it virtually through the Zoom platform. And we had lots of international researchers who decided to join us, and we made it free for everyone to join and to exchange benefits. And it's the first, and last year it was the second, and we believe that later on we are going to work it on the blended way, so people can visit Egypt, and at the same time who cannot still travel because of restrictions in the airports and stuff like this will still join us online. So we are going to proceed with this, but COVID-19 enhanced and gave and was a catalyst for us to start the conference. Next. And because we cannot stop the faculty conference, which was the 9th international faculty conference, we cannot stop something that was 8 years. We cannot say that COVID came and we cannot conduct it, but we still conducted it in the virtual way, so we cannot lose what we gained. Let's conclude all what we can say, that clearly the influence of COVID-19 pandemic did bring out certain positive aspects to media education in the Canadian University. We can say that the educators found online classes and working from home easily, and creative projects were developed, and that enhanced all what I just explained as a rightful experience for our university, and specifically for our faculty. Maybe some other faculties did not do that, but still it was one of the main goals that we achieved. I can say that because of what happened at the COVID-19 time, we gained the certificate, the quality insurance certificate, and because of what we did, because it was such an experience to them, that we did something that few universities only did, or maybe only universities that can be counted on the fingers. But still, the debate is still clinging, raising one major question, which we can say that the online and the distance education, or even the blended or the hybrid that we are facing nowadays, produce a qualified graduate, or even a promising one, or not all? This is a question we all need to think about. I'm always thinking about what they gained and what they lost. So thank you very much for that, and it was a great pleasure to be joining you here all.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful presentation. And now we are moving to the question and answer session. And there are some questions there in the chat box.
Okay.
Someone has asked some question in the chat box.
Okay. Mass media education is faculty of humanities and delivered using state of the art. I hope students should be experts in modern tools and equipment. I think the COVID-19 was a chance for them to learn everything, because they are the ones who decided to learn. You know, when sometimes we as teachers give an assignment to help themselves and to self-study, and they go and take courses and learn more and more, or even they open the YouTube and learn from it. This was the chance that they had. I think it was a golden chance for them. This is my opinion about it. And how is it possible to have online classes for practical sessions? There were lots of virtual labs that was there on the internet. We used it personally because we had lots of courses like the non-linear editing, which was teaching the students the how to edit using Adobe Premiere or the Final Cut. We use that virtual labs, and there are lots of systems for the virtual reality nowadays, and the simulation. We used it in order to explain for the students as if they were with a class exactly. It succeeded. Some people prefer the recorded Zoom. The recorded classes and the recorded tutorials, and they upload it for the students and give the students a chance for discussing the in another hour after watching, and the steps are recorded, so they just imitate what was there on the in front of them on the video. This was another way, but we didn't personally use it. We preferred the face-to-face online one. So this was the way. So practical sessions can be taught. It wasn't a problem at all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Do anyone have any
Who else
questions?
have any? Yes.
Any more questions from the audience side? Yes, there is one question, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am. My name is Rishika. Ma'am, my question is: after the pandemic, we have so much online courses have been come. So, what's the opinion about the online courses in the future? Is there will be any online classes, or does there will be any hybrid classes?
I think thank you very much for the question at the beginning. I think the online classes are going to be there. For us now, for example, we are using a one week online and another week offline. So we are not going to lose the benefits that we gained from the COVID. At the same time, we are not going to lose the offline. So I think the mixture between both of them is a benefit. So this is going to be, I think, the future.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Gauri. So, were there any measures taken against students for students who couldn't get access to internet and other electrical applications in Egypt?
I don't understand you. Can you just repeat?
Ma'am, was there any measures taken for students who couldn't get access to the internet?
They couldn't get what? I think this is a problem in internet. I hear the first part and I cannot hear the second part. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Could you please repeat the question?
Yes.
Repeat the question.
Ma'am, were there any measures taken for students who couldn't get access to the internet in Egyptian colleges, universities, schools, etc.?
I still not hear. Can you type the question for me? Because
She's
I
asking
really
for
cannot hear her.
internship. Internships.
Internship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. In our personal university, no. They didn't open for internships at all because we are still a private university. Even if we are with the Ahram, we are related to the Ahram newspaper in Egypt, but still they didn't ask for that. But however, we within the last few weeks we conducted a collaboration between one of the universities in India, and workshops are going to be conducted for us and for them, and we will have the internships starting from their side and our side. So yes, it's the previous week, but previously at the year of the COVID, no, we didn't do that. But now we are going to do it if we had a collaboration with a university and the university president is open for that nowadays. Yes.
Thank you,
I have a question written in the chat box. Do you think that online classes can have an equal impact on hand-to-hand experience? I do agree it is a wonderful idea to have a hybrid mode of education. I think the impact it depends on the student himself. The student is able to then he will benefit from the impact on the online and offline. If the students don't care and he's reckless, we cannot do anything for him. But as an experience, students should learn from both on the equal hand, because now if you're going to teach in the week offline and on the 1 week online, I'm teaching another thing that is going to depend on the next week, they are going to concentrate. So make sure that there is a merge between both the online and the offline, so they can be forced in a way or another to learn, because this is only what we can do. We're here to help the students to learn as much as possible, and sometimes the forcing is a perfect place. So merging between both of them is right. Government should provide digital infrastructures, yes, for everything. Even the universities themselves provide digital infrastructures. At a point, the internet speed at the university was very low, and we decided to ask the president who upgraded, because we were facing problems when we were at the university and we need to teach lectures. So not only the country, the universities themselves too. So yes, I totally agree about it.
Ma'am, I think there is one more question from Sampath.
Yes, sure.
It's already answered.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Another question from
Thank you.
Sampath is there.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Nandu.
Hello.
In the recent era, many universities in India are having online degrees. So, if this type of online degree is more convenient than the traditional degree, so in the future, whether the traditional classroom education will disappear with the online, as the online is becoming more popular.
Even if we believe that there are online and there are lots of universities going to issue the degrees, but sometimes, the quality of a degree that is only online, people not on all countries are going to believe in it. So I personally don't prefer it. I prefer the hybrid one, the one where we have the online and offline, to make sure for any country that have cultural resistance towards the online alone to be accepting such a certificate. So I personally don't prefer it. Because of specific countries, not because the education there is going to be a loss. No, not at all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. On behalf of Mohamed School of Earth Science, we convey our heartfelt gratitude for the wonderful session you have given. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, and thanks for Dr. Dinesh, and thank you very much personally, and best of the International Symposium, and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.